Hey everyone, Sam Ovens here, and in today's video, I want to share with you 4 books that I believe every entrepreneur must read. Oh, wow. So I did a video a couple of weeks ago where I explained exactly what I would do if I was starting over again from scratch. Like if all my businesses went bankrupt and I lost my memory of everything I'd learned over the past few years, exactly what I would do step by step. And one of the things I said I would do is start learning. You know, as an entrepreneur, when you're starting out, there's a lot of things you need to know. And the best way to learn is through reading books. I have been to university, I have been to $15,000 seminars, I've been in masterminds, I've had mentors, and, you know, where I've learned most of my knowledge is definitely from books. And this is awesome because books are readily accessible for everyone in the world. You can buy them for around $14 each on Amazon. And, you know, everyone has access to them, and there's so much knowledge to be gained through books. And a question that came up a lot after that video is, you know, the audience was writing to me and saying, Sam, that's awesome, but what books would you read specifically? And that's a very good question, and in today's video I'm going to share with you the 4 books that I believe every entrepreneur must read. So with regards to reading books, I usually stick to 4 major categories. So I'm trying to improve myself in 4 categories. And those categories are, number 1 is mindset. So that's, you know, how we think and how we deal with all the internal stuff in our mind as we're faced with the challenges in entrepreneurship. The other category is sales. You know, I believe that nothing is more important than salesmanship in business, and, you know, sales is the second category where I want to improve my skills. The third category is marketing, and specifically direct response marketing. And the 4th category is business strategy, which is often overlooked in the internet marketing crowd, where everyone's just obsessed with new technology and, you know, the new greatest thing to exploit. But, you know, a lot of the internet marketing crowd completely miss good business strategy, and that's the 4th area that I believe you should learn in and you know, become better at. So I'll show you the 4 books that I recommend, the best of in each one of those categories. So first of all, with mindset, the book that I recommend is Cybernetics. I've read this book at least 4 times, and every time I pick it up and read it again, it's just as awesome. You know, in terms of understanding why you feel, you know, weird when you go to pick up the phone and call a customer, why you get freaked out, and, you know, why your brain causes all of these different emotions when you're faced with challenges along the entrepreneurship journey. Cybernetics is an awesome book to do with mindset. So it's written by a guy called Maxwell Maltz, and Maxwell Maltz was a plastic surgeon in Manhattan quite a long time ago, and he did surgeries on patients, like plastic surgery, where a patient would have a defect with their nose or something like that, and they'd come in for an operation, and he'd fix them. But when they were fixed, they still felt self-conscious, and they still thought that they looked ugly, even though they didn't. And this fascinated him so much that he quit being a plastic surgeon, and he dedicated the rest of his life to researching this thing that's called self-image. And that's, you know, that's how we see ourselves and how we see our strengths and weaknesses. And that is, you know, a huge thing that you need to master in entrepreneurship. I've always said that, you know, entrepreneurship and success is more of a battle in your own mind than it is anything else. And this book helps a lot with that. The second book I would recommend is on the category of sales. And this book is called Spin Selling by Neil Rackham. Now, this book, I'm sure every seasoned salesman has a copy of this book, and, you know, it's mentioned in every sales program around the world. This book is unbelievable, and I can honestly say it's the best book I've ever read on the topic of salesmanship. Now, Neil Rackham research. So this book's based not on theory, but on actual research and actual facts. So Neil Rackham went around the world and he studied 35,000 sales calls. And he looked at the top performing sales reps in a range of different organizations, in a range of different industries. And he studied them, got a whole bunch of data, analyzed it, and worked out what these guys had in common. And he worked out that top performers all did the same things, and that is what spin selling is. And this book is unbelievable. Now, on the topic of marketing, this book is the best there is. And anyone that thoroughly understands marketing and advertising will say that this is the best book on marketing and advertising ever written in the world ever. And it's called Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. Now, this book is written a long time ago, and before all of this digital stuff came along, and before social media, and before all of this noise in the market. And it's written by a man, Eugene Schwartz, who advertised and marketed through print. So the written word, just plain and simple. And he tested all sorts of different things, and his findings from a lifetime in advertising are in this book. And it's so good because it doesn't contain any of the noise that the marketing world has gotten accustomed to since all of this digital stuff came out. So this teaches you some best practices in advertising that will last you for your entire lifetime. Now, this book's actually out of print, which is unbelievable. So you can find used copies on Amazon, and they do cost about $100 plus each. But I cannot recommend it enough. This book is amazing, and it's the best one I've ever read on the topic of marketing and advertising. Now, the final topic that I said you want to read books in is business strategy, the thing that entrepreneurs often overlook. Doesn't matter how good your marketing and your advertising and your copywriting and your salesmanship and your marketing and your mindset is, if you're heading on a path that's going the wrong way, right? So business strategy is another fundamental that you always want to be improving your skills on. Now, the best book I've ever read on the topic of business strategy is Blue Ocean's Strategy. And this book is probably the best strategy book I've ever read, and anyone else that will talk to you about management or anything like that will say the same thing. Basically, this book has looked at some of the most successful companies in the history of the world and what sort of strategy they had that enabled them to be so successful. Now, the example in this book that they use just blows my mind still to this day, and it's Cirque Du Soleil. So, Cirque du Soleil is a circus company that was entering a very crowded marketplace, and they were able to build a multi-billion-dollar brand in a very short time in a very crowded and competitive marketplace. And this book shows how they did that by not improving incrementally on things that the competition was already doing, but in just flipping the whole model completely upside down. And that's what this book's all about. And you will get a lot out of it regardless of what industry you're in. And you always want to make sure that, your mindset, your sales, your marketing, and your business strategy is sharp. And these are the 4 areas that you want to continuously improve your life in. Now, if you're watching this video anywhere else other than my blog, head over to www.samovens.com. That's where more videos like this are. That's where the comment section is. And that's where more free resources for entrepreneurs and business owners like yourself are. Now, if you've liked this video, I want you to do a couple of things. First of all, just click that like button. And if you've enjoyed it, share it with your friends and leave me something in the comment section. I read the comments and I reply to them personally. So that's it for this week's video. I'll see you all soon.